Hello, welcome to the RAE Corner. My name is Ludmila, and today we're making the RAE bag or rough around the edges bag. As you can see, it's all in the name. This is not a really complicated bag. We're just once again using one stitch to make all of the bag. The bag consists of the front panel, the back panel, which are exactly the same, the bottom panel, or the one that supports the bag at the bottom, and then the sides and the strap itself are one continuous panel or just one continuous strap, whatever you would like to call it, and everything is done in the herringbone stitch. I'm gonna show you exactly how to make it. But before we get started, as you can see, I have two versions of the bag right here, and the difference is not only in color but also in the size. This one is a RAE mini bag, I would say, because it is around 15 centimeters. The height is pretty much the same, and this one is closer to 19-20 centimeters. I'm gonna tell you how many stitches you need for both of them. However, the difference is just in the chain stitch and then in the adjusting amount of the stitches at the bottom of the bag. However, I also have another, I would say, alteration or another version in the same color so you can see a little bit of a difference. This one is RAE as well, but turned inside out. If you pay closer attention or take a closer look, you can see that it is a herringbone stitch, same panels. It's just the bag is turned inside out and the strap is attached in just subtly different way. There's not too much of a difference there, but once again, it's up to you what you would like more. I'll let you know the difference between the three of them so you can decide, up to you, what exactly you would like to go with. To start working with the bag, I would recommend to get the cotton yarn. I'm once again using Berna yarn. This one I'm finding in Walmart's usually. It comes in quite a big spool or quite a big ball. So you can see that from this ball, I actually was able to make two bags and I still have quite a bit of left. So I think 1 or 1.5 bag I can make with this remaining yarn. Of course, you would need a hook. Since this is a medium worsted yarn, you would need a 5 or a 4.5 millimeter hook. You'll need scissors as well. I don't think you need stitch markers. There's not much of things to mark down there, so let's get started. To get started, we need to make a knot. So I'm just gonna pull the thread around my 2 fingers, and then the thread needs to go in, and we pull it out. Then we take our crochet hook and we pull on it to tighten it, and we pull on this end to make the loop smaller. Next, I'm gonna be chaining 35 plus 1 for turning chain, so a total of 36. For the mini bag version, you'll have to chain 30 plus 1 for the turning chain. I've done 36 chains, and now we're gonna skip this chain. The chain on the hook doesn't count. We're gonna skip this chain. So we're just finishing with our chains, and now in the second chain from the hook, this one on the hook doesn't count. This is the first chain or the turning chain in this particular crochet. So we need to do it in this second chain. We're gonna put a single crochet. So to do a single crochet, we go into the chain, we loop around, pull up a loop. Now we have 2 loops on our chain, and we pull again and pull through. This is our single crochet. From here you can see those 2 loops here. this one, and this one. So into this one, we will go with our crochet hook. Boom. And then we go into the next chain. We pull through a loop. Now we have 3 loops on our hook, and we pull through all 3 of them. Now we have 3 stitches over here, and we will go with our crochet hook into this last one. We will always work into this last one, right? So we go in, we go into the next chain, yarn over, pull through. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And we continue again. Put our hook into this last stitch, put through the chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3. So you need to continue working in this way until the end of your row, and try not to tighten up the stitches too much, because otherwise you won't be able to go into them with your crochet hook and it's gonna pull on your work too much. There is no difference in working the smaller bag as well. It's just you're working less amount of chains and less amount of stitches. So I'm at the end of my row. I'm just finishing up the last stitch. We have this beautiful row done. And now what we will do is we're gonna chain 1 at the end of the row as our turning chain. Yarn over and pull through. So this is our turning chain. And now we're just gonna turn our work so we can start working it into this way. And to start the row, again, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna skip this turning chain that we just made and start working into these V's at the top of the stitch. If you can see them, the V right here. So we're gonna be working right underneath the V. So once again, we're gonna start with single crochet. So I'm just gonna put my crochet hook right under this V. I'm gonna yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on my hook. Then I'm gonna go into the second stitch over here, go under my next V, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all the 3. So once again, put the crochet hook into the third stitch, put it under this V over here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. The smaller bag has 18 rows worked in and the bigger one has 20. My bad, I forgot to show you the part where you stopped working on a panel or where you need to fasten off. As you can see, I've done my last stitch over here. So now to wrap things up, I'll need to chain 1. Remember, we were making the turning chains at the end of each row. Here, this one is gonna be not a turning chain, but a fastening off chain. Then I'm gonna cut my yarn. And with the crochet hook, I'm just gonna pull this yarn out and tighten it up. And it is secure. This is how we're fastening off. The second panel is done in the exact same way. You are chaining either 30 or 35 and then continuing the rows for either 18 or 20. For the bottom part of the bag and the strap, the process is once again the same, just the amount of chains are 7 plus 1 for the turning chain, of course, in all of the versions of the bag. So the mini bag, the inside out, the regular bag, everything is 7 chains plus 1 for the turning chain, working exact same way, skipping the turning chain, working a single crochet to the second chain from the hook, and then working a herringbone stitch. The amount of rows for the bottom part I think will be different for everyone based on the tension of their stitches, but if we're talking about mine, I have around 29 or 30 stitches or 30 rows in total for this bottom part. How to figure out if you have enough? You just need to place the front or back panel next to the bottom panel and see if the coverage is gonna be enough, but leave a little bit wiggle room, don't make it too short. We can fix it if it's too long. We can bend the part and stitch it to the inside of the bag, kind of like covering the sides there. However, if it's too short, there's not much that can be done in that case. As for the length strap, the mini is around 57 centimeters. The regular one is 62, and I actually think that I messed up this one because I think it's too short. I would prefer it to be at least 5 centimeters longer. I might try to fix it in a way that I cut a part out of here and then I just edit and cover it up somehow. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen and if I decide to do so, but we'll see. And the inside out one actually has a good length of the strap, which is 70 centimeters. So when you have your front panel, your back panel, the bottom part and the strap ready, it is time to start sewing it all together. We will be using the slip stitch to connect all the parts, and here is going to be the difference between the 3 bags. So we will start with stitching up of the bottom part. What we're gonna do is the dead knot. For that, we're gonna insert our hook just somewhere at the beginning of the stitching, and we're gonna pull through the thread and just tie a knot. Then we will insert our hook in the same exact spot where we did the dead knot and just pull up a regular loop. Next, it is time to slip stitch. For that, we will insert our hook into the next spot in our canvas. We pull up another loop. Now we have 2 loops on our hook, and then we pull 1 loop through the first loop on our hook. We will continue to make the slip stitches until the 2 parts are connected for this side, and then we will chain 1 and yarn off as I've shown you previously. This is how the slip stitch looks on the side that we're working with. As you can see, the edges are not nearly as neat as they're supposed to be because we're going for that disheveled, disgruntled, rough look. This is one panel at the bottom part attached. Now we need to make the same, but for the second panel. This is the bottom part attached to both of the panels. You can see if we turn it inside out, it creates a bit of a bump. That's what we would be going for the inside out version. Otherwise, we're gonna put the straps on, making sure that they are not turned in any way and they are both in the same position. So what I'm showing right now is where you would need to position the straps if you're turning the bag inside out. Otherwise, you need to put the straps into this position, since we're gonna be just leaving it as it is and sewing it as it is in that way. So that's the main difference between the inside out and not inside out version, where you attach the bottom of the strap. Otherwise, we're connecting the strap and the panel in the same way. We're doing the dead knot first and then just slip stitch till the bottom of the strap. When you are attaching a second panel, make sure that they end or start at the same stitch or the same row that you attached the previous panel. Otherwise, the bag is not gonna be leveled or it's gonna be uneven. You can attach the bottom of the strap with the long tail end of the thread that you have left, or you can just do the same dead knot and just sew it. It doesn't need to be too much of sewing, it just needs to stay there. Last but not least, we will need to hide all of these tail ends, or alternatively, if you are going for even more rough look or just disheveled look, you can just keep it as is and make it a part of your design. It can be your personal spin on this design. I definitely don't mind. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you now have a great cool bag to show your friends. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!